Good evening, everybody, and welcome to something a little bit different. We're going to be exploring the little worlds of 5089, a very ambitious, but rudimentary sandbox game. Now, we're going to be starting a new game here. I've played a little bit of this, and I've read these guides, so let's start with a custom character. Usually I go with my own name, but for today, we're going to be entering the world of Chicago. Now this is the sequel to 3089, a game in which a bunch of androids, artificial intelligence, were set on a planet for a perpetual experimental war, as you can see. This war has continued for 2,000 years with no sign of stopping, all the same systems in place. And our job is going to be to find a way to suppress this war and see if we can get it back to a peaceful state now. You can see that's already pretty loaded territory that we're playing with. This is going to be our first drop. Now you can see it says Violet is the fabricated enemy. That's very important to take note of because there are no natural enemies here. Simply, we have been chosen to be the team of Gold, and they are the team of Violet, which means they will attack us on sight. And it will be our base, our choice to go in and remove their bases for the idea of, returning this to a peaceful state. Now what that means, we're gonna find out. So we got a couple different places that we can drop in. We're always gonna spawn in a friendly area, but we wanna find which one of these has the most stations nearby, because these are gonna be what allow us to have access to resources and quests which we will need to get skill points. We're gonna drop in here. This one looks pretty populated. You can see we've dropped on top of the building. Alright. Now, as you might have noticed, this is a procedurally generated game. It will use your name to generate an area. There's always going to be a certain amount of structure that it follows, but the details between that are variable depending on what seed you use. We're going to add a little bit to agility here. And now we want some stamina. And it looks like we have nothing in guns. We're going to add a little bit to stealth and a little bit to prestige. Now we want prestige because we're gonna have to build up some followers if you really want to get anywhere. But right now, what we need is a way to defend ourselves. So it looks like we have two choices from the ones out here. These are not great looking weapons. Their accuracy is not high. We're gonna try going with this energy launcher. Energy weapons will use up our energy gauge there, which will slowly recharge over time. So we'll be slowly putting some skill points into our energy, just so that we have to lug around a lot of ammo. Now we want to set a backup location. This backup location is going to ensure that when we get destroyed, which we will be destroyed, that we have a place to return to. Okay. Our first quest is going to be a coup d'etat. First, we've got to do a little bit of spying, and I think it's becoming very apparent that we were sent into Chicago as a bit of a narc. if you take a look over here, you can also see there are vehicles to pilot. Not too many. I've only seen one type of vehicle so far. And you do need points to pilot them. Now, you can see at the bottom there's a detection bar here. And our goal is to spy on this person. What is their name? Zoe. Without being detected or without killing the target. So all we gotta do is simply keep them in view, find out what they're doing. And you can see in the far distance, a whole bunch of gold soldiers just drop down. Now, here's hoping that they don't find us before our job is done. There we go. Because if they do get killed... Oh, looks like we've been detected. It's time to get out of here. This is probably not going to be a fight we can win. And if you look up here, you can see these white spacecraft here. Those are surveyors. This area, this planet, is still under constant surveillance. Even 2,000 years later. And these surveyors have once again increased the surveillance on this area. Now we can't go through the windows because our bot is a little bit too big. Okay. Looks like we need to kill this leader. Now this is not going to be a great fight. We're going to wait for our guns to recharge over there. You can see at the bottom left we have 3 charges per shots. And I want to go in with as many as I can. What we're actually going to do now is get this energy recharge, take a second, see if we can get out of detection radius. And then we're going to use our time stop power. Let's see if we can... Oh, this is not going well for us, unfortunately. I was not prepared for... Ooh. Okay, I think it's becoming pretty clear that we're not going to win in a stand-up fight. So right now, we're going to take some... We're going to take some quests that don't require us to fight. Now this one, we just need to get some information from somebody and then chase down the location of a rogue pro. As you can see now, I have lost a piece of my weaponry here, which has rendered my gun useless. Now, I can buy a part for this energy launcher, but right now, I currently do not have enough money. Once we have enough money, we can purchase another piece, and then we can put it back together, which will slightly alter its properties depending on which body we decide to choose. But right now, let's get some information on this rogue probe. It looks like the person that we need to talk to is going to be on top of this mountainside. So we're going to have to do a little platforming to get up here. We've got some pretty jagged and mountainous terrain in here. So after we secure some weapons and some defenses, our next objective is going to be to get a grappling hook or a hoverboard, which will help us navigate the area better. There you go. Okay. So now we can already kind of see the philosophies of the two warring factions here that have been placed in by the Overlord. The gold faction values logic above everything else, to the point where they find emotions detrimental. Now this, we're gonna have to get out of here real quick. Nope, seems like we've already been spotted. And already, we can see that our missions are taking us to some pretty hostile territory where we're not going to be able to fight. As a matter of fact, if you check the map real quick, you can check the difficulty of every area, and as I scroll, if you see at the top left, it'll tell you the difficulty of each area. Generally, we want to begin with quests over here, where the difficulty is 1, 1.5, pretty simple. But since we picked a base that was a little bit closer to the border, it has us coming out to territory much above our level, so we're going to be doing our best to stay stealthy, give everybody a clear wide berth until we can level up our stealth and our ability to gain followers. Now let's see if we can climb up here. This might be a difficult one. There we go. And you can see, despite the supposed logic based philosophy of the gold robots, even they believe in some sort of afterlife, or at least a few of them do. Now we're going to use this timer thing because we need to pick this item up, and we can see over here this is going to be a watchtower. These watchtowers are going to gun us down if we are within range, and we do not want that. So now we've completed some tasks for the Overlord. The Overlord is the overseer of this area, this planet, this experimental war, and they have an old system in place used to test various robots and their ability to complete tasks and interact with the area. These are mostly going to be our main source of skill points and the way that we will get resources to obtain new gear. First, we want to get into a safe area to apply these skill points. You can see over here we have a long bridge leading off into the distance, and we can see some of our comrades over there fighting. Now we're going to add some points to stealth because this is going to make us less prone to being detected, and we're going to add a little bit more to prestige. Prestige is what is going to be required for us to gain followers. Other allies will not follow us if we don't have enough prestige. And with enough prestige, you can even get people who are already following other allies to join in by talking to their leader and converting their entire squad into your squad. Now again, we're no good in a stand-up fight, so we're going to get out of here. Thankfully there is no fall damage. We can make a clean leap. Oop. Unfortunately, we need to hit the jump button a little bit sooner. And we'll just get up here. Looks like that's going to be a little too sheer for us. We'll use this tree here to give us a lift. Oh, careful. Oh. Okay, looks like that is not going to be an option for us. Let's keep on going. If we can escape down here, I'm sure we can find a way past these enemies and back into the walls. Thankfully, our health will regenerate up to 25%. If things get bad, we can stop time. And let's see if we're within range for communicating. Yes. So now you can see they have joined us and become part of our allied forces. And over here, we'll take this ant zapper bot. Oh, looks like we were in range, but we weren't quite in range, so we were not able to recruit them. Let's see if there's any resources here that we can use. So these are unpowered stations. The infrastructure of this place has been decaying, as you'd expect, over 2,000 years of eternal war. As anybody can attest, long extended wars tend to do big damage to your infrastructure and divert resources from things that you really need them for. As much as there are factions here that would love to see an eternal war continue in order to keep making profits and to fund the military activity that is the basis of this entire planet. At some point, it will begin to decay. Now you can see over here, that is a headquarters. That's going to be our eventual goal. We will want to take down these headquarters in order to get conversion points and powered unpowered stations, and to help us along the way as we attempt to take down bases. Now, okay, so we've got our first follower. And over here, looks like that one was just quite right out of her range. But let's return back to base. We want to get some more quests, and we want to see if we can get a new weapon to replace our old one, because we do not want to be defenseless. If anything, let's check the neighboring areas. They'll have a variety of generated weaponry, and we can see if we can get a new weapon, or at least a new part for one. Now, I'm not sure what was around the corner. Yeah, we just want to make sure. Generally, you won't find enemies within allied territory, since they'll usually be destroyed immediately. But you never know. Alright, let's check the stats on this. Now, the accuracy on this one is very bad. As you can see, there's body, barrel, and magazine parts for here. Now, our body over here does not seem fantastic. It's a little shady. And it will decrease our accuracy from already low 50% on the barrel. So, let's make sure that we pick something else. Right now, what parts do we have left? Now, our accuracy is about 80%. And gives us a little bit more prestige. So it must be a sweet gun that makes everybody thinks, hey, this person, they know what they're doing. They're gonna get things done. Now let's see if we can find something to add to that. Now this one, this body part here, will give us an 84.6% explosive charge. Now the problem with this is it only has a single shot. So even if the damage is high, it's going to make it difficult for us. But it doesn't look like we have a lot of options right now. So let's purchase this. And we're going to have to find a workstation next. Thankfully there's one right around the corner. And we're going to combine these two parts. There we go. Now thankfully, you can see that our magazine has given us a little bit more shots in it. And we've basically created a decent grenade launcher here. So this does use up a decent amount of energy, so if you do not want to be in trouble, we're going to have to increase that next. So we got a lot of things. We want to get some prestige, we want to get some stealth ability, and we want to build up some energy in guns in order to keep us from running out of weaponry in the middle of a fight. So now we have picked up Victoria Gutierrez. She's going to help us in our quest in Chicago. It says that we have some quests in here, actually, as a matter of fact. So we're gonna look around here, see what we can find. Now there is an armor station here, but armor tends to be expensive. It can only divert damage, so it's always best for us to escape damage entirely. Okay. So first we are going to have to find and disarm a bomb. We cannot kill anybody on the way there. So here's hoping that our teammates cooperate with us and don't get into gunfights on the way there. I would normally dismiss them for a mission like this, but because we're very unequipped and we're gonna have to protect somebody right after this, I'm keeping them on me. So we disabled that bomb. And now we've got a little bit of data from it. Auto placement allows us to easily move robotic designs around warring hotspots. We can control enemy density, populate any empty areas, all with dynamic algorithms. No area on Zax will go unused, even if it just got slammed by meteors. So now we can see that the Overlord has designed a system to make sure that every area of this planet constantly sees action. They are moving enemies and squads together to make sure that they can get more data by artificially creating conflicts. Now, if you can see, if you can hear that, what one of my comrades just said is, I have seemed to lost my ID number. It seems that this 2,000-year war has taken a toll on some identities here, on some of these robots' identities. Now, this is a pretty calm bodyguard mission. Thankfully, there's no enemies in the area. And in 30 seconds, we're going to be out of here. Let's check what we need to do next. We're going to have to find Brianna and give her the disc that we just captured. Now this will net us 5 skill points, and it'll also net us 90 per task. So thankfully we get paid during every step of this, which means that we've already got 90 credits and we're about to get another 90. And here we are. It seems that one of these robots is a fan of ancient memes. Alright. Brianna, is it? Take this disc. Now, Brianna's already patrolling this turret, so she can't join us. But while we're here, we're gonna put a lot into energy, because we want a lot more energy to work with. And we're gonna have to find an energy recharge station as well to get us back to full energy. Now there is a health charger there, but no energy chargers. Looks like that we have one here, as well as some new quests. So let's head over that way. And we'll see if we can get a couple more allies to join us. It seems Jasmine. As you can see, we've convinced Jasmine to join us up, and Sam and all the others have decided to join with us. And as you can see, they're a little impatient. I walk a little too fast, and I've heard that from a lot of people, and it seems like these followers have decided that, well, That's just a little too fast for them, and they're going to start teleporting instead of walking. Now, we do have the maximum size army, which is good to hear. Let's double check if we have any other weapons. Just in case. No, these are mostly energy rifles. Before we buy any weaponry, let's recharge this. Let's charge up our energy, make sure that we are equipped for whatever happens next. There we go. And we can see there's even more weapons up here, so it's always good to scour the base. There's an Uzi there. None of these are going to be fantastic, but let's check these swords. If it comes down to it, we might have to fight close range, and we don't want to have something that will... Whoa. We don't want to have something that's going to run out of energy. Now you can see there's a surveyor over there. We're not going to engage a surveyor right now because we only have our lob energy gun grenades, and those aren't going to do very well against airborne enemies, so we're going to be avoiding those for now. Let's check out the DPS on these. These two seem to be doing the most damage. This one apparently is also a cool looking sword. Now this will give us a little bit more energy, a little consumables, and will also reflect some shots. We're gonna go with this one for now. Ooh, not enough credits. Now that has cost 426. So we're gonna have to do one more quest. We're gonna leave this waypoint here, just to mark it. Okay. It looks like we're going to make a delivery. So we're gonna have to retrieve an item, remove a little gang of robots that is in the way, and then safely get our item back to somebody who needs a delivery. Oops. There we go. The new overlord or master or whatever, it's scary. I have a little loyalty score that is constantly updating. If it drops below 0, I get auto-destroyed. However, if I'm ordered to take on 3 spider bots, what is the point of being loyal? It seems that the new overlord has a bit of a, let's say, a nationalistic streak. It seems to be demanding loyalty or death. Now, it's a good thing that we had such a large gang of robots to help us out, because we were not very good in that fight, were we? And we're going to be entering hostile territory to deliver this item. Again, we are unusually close to the border. Looks like Bentley can handle himself as well. As we saw, just took down that hostile. Now, Bentley, would you like to join us? It seems like our army is still too large. We thankfully did not lose anybody in the last gunfight. So what we're going to do now is we need a little bit more in guns. It seems like our group has a lot of opinions on where we go next. But for now, let's find... Oh, well, I was going to say that we should... We're going to be in a tight spot. I was going to say that we should go find some more quests. And retrieve some more items. But it looks like there's going to be a meteor shower soon. Now we aren't close to anything that isn't hostile, so we're just gonna take a shelter under this bridge and hope that our comrades will be safe as well. Normally you're gonna want to be indoors for a meteor shower, but in a pinch this will have to do. And if you bring up the map, you can see the meteors raining down on the various areas. It seems to have passed. So we're going to continue on. Seems I was a little bit late on that. Now this is the perils of walking into an area much more dangerous than the crew that you brought in. As you can see, we've only got one left. And we're going to have to recruit another group of locals to escort us through the area. Until we get a little more situated. Now this is an easy one. Shouldn't be too much drama. We only need to make sure that we do not kill the person we are delivering things to. So we'll pick up Lucy over here. Jackson. And we're going to have to rob this person. I'm sorry to say it, Sadie, but we will need the information that you're carrying. And again, we're seeing some worries about being declared unpatriotic, disloyal. As we destroy these pieces, you'll see that we're also getting from these boxes pieces of loot. These pieces of loot are all incomplete. We'll either want to put them together or sell them off to make some cash. Now here, we're going to attempt a sneak attack, because this will surely end up in a gunfight. And we're going to take the opportunity to do double damage, make sure our target doesn't get killed. Alright, so we've delivered that to Sarah. We've got 4 skill points. And we're going to add a little bit more to stealth. Now, we've nearly 1,000 credits. So we're going to return. And we're going to sell off some of the weapons that we've gained from here. This is still going to be too sheer a cliff face here. It looks like we're going to have to drop down and take the long way around. Thankfully, we have the maximum amount of time rip, which is our time slowing ability. That'll let us freeze time to either attack or escape. We've got a whole 15 seconds, and with our current speed, that should be enough to get away from most situations. And now you can see, we've already used up pretty much all our energy. So maybe it isn't the best investment quite yet. We'll have to put a little bit more into energy to make this worth it, it seems like. Because as of now, we are quickly depleting our resources with every gunfight. Which is probably a sign for us to stay out of it. Okay, so we've returned here. Doesn't seem to be any weaponry right here. Currently very useful. So what we're going to look for is some utility shops. There seems to be one in here. What floor it's on, we'll have to find out. Ah, here we go. And what we want to do is we'll sell this while we're at it. And we can get rid of these base converters, which we don't need currently. These pants we'll be able to put together at a workstation, so we'll hang on to those for now. Right now, we're more interested in this grappling hook. I'm going to want one of those because this terrain is so mountainous. And then we'll want a workstation, which I believe I saw downstairs, to put those pants together. You know, it's called a pair of pants because there's one for each leg. So we'll have to naturally make sure that we have a pair and not just a single pant. Is that how that works? I'm not sure if that's technically correct, but looks like we have a new pair of pants. Let's check that stats real quick. For some reason, it will give us a little bit in programming. There seems to be that slacks somehow lend themselves to doing programming work.
I heard Half-Life 3 is supposed to come out next year.
Wow, incredible. Half-Life 3 finally coming out. You heard them. In the year 5000. Alright, let's find our target and protect them. Now that we have one of these, the cooldown, this is a level 1 grappling hook. So the cooldown is substantial. About 2 seconds. But it'll make it much easier to get through different areas. Like that. Oh. Now, it seems that our quest character is over there on the other side of the wall. But we've unfortunately ended up right into a gunfight. Let's get a better vantage point up here. Oops. I can see that the person that we need to protect is over on this side. And thankfully, this area is clear of enemies. So we'll just watch over them for now. Seems like they might be getting detected by one of the ships. And thankfully, our grenade launcher seems to have some stun effects on it, which have allowed us to get out of that rather bad situation by giving us a momentary advantage to fire off a second shot. We're gonna equip this grappling hook again. You can see this grappling hook has quite a good amount of range. It does unfortunately have that significant cooldown, which will make it hard to chain them. But from up here, we can can team up with our teammates over here. Take them that easily from a distance. And grab up the remains. Excellent. Let's make sure that we aren't carrying too much. Thankfully we're not. The problem with the level 1 grappling hooks is that they cannot support a lot of weight, so if you get onto a particularly eventful set of battles and carry a lot of loot on you, it's going to be difficult to get around. Now you can see that our pilot rating is 1.4, and we got 5. I say we find out how piloting this craft works. Oh, beautiful. Excellent. Now this thing does not seem to have any weapons on it, but it does give us a little more stamina, and it seems to be getting us around rather quickly. Now we're gonna make a little stop here. See if we can recruit more people on the way there. Oh, there we go. Now we're gonna get this ant sapper with us. Daniel Meyer will join us. And Brooke has joined us as well. Pilot skill of 4.5 required. I believe I have that. It seems that's something I equipped. Ah, I see. Very funny. It seems that it'll only let us pilot this ship if we've got the grappling hook on, because it's giving us a bonus to piloting skill. Alright gang. We're going to do one more quest. Doesn't having only 25% health get old, they say. Very funny. We're gonna sell these off. We're gonna keep these energies here. This will help us recharge our energy weapons. And we'll take this health here. Before we go, let's figure out if there's any weaponry here that can help us out. Okay, this has a pretty high accuracy. So we'll want something comparable. Now none of these are going to be, unfortunately, within our price range, so we're going to have to continue doing some quests. I'm gonna have to scout. I believe I left my plane over here. There we go. Oh yes, let me equip that grappling hook. Ah, that seems to be our enemy. Now let's make sure this is low enough to the ground. This is going to be difficult. Now let's see. So we successfully were able to eject, drop that enemy, and get fire down on them. Oh, looks like we got another one. Thankfully our crew have taken care of it. Now, we're going to have to get the disc. Now, our character build is getting a little messy here. But you know, when you are organizing a coup d'etat, it's you gotta be multifaceted. Red versus blue is so 3089. The old overlord, being so limited by the sole reliance on logic, would pick such a typical color speed. Now, gold and violet. Now that is a unique matchup. Let's give these robots some color with their emotion. Okay. With that item, it's time to kill the leader, Ian. Again, we're gonna have to add at least one more skill point here. And it's a good thing that our teammates can teleport, because there's definitely not enough space. Alright, I'm sorry to do this, Ian. Ooh. This is going to be a good time to use our time rip. And we're going to hope that those will, there you go, take care upon getting out. The trajectories are a little bit weird at that. We're not using ballistic weapons, so. But I'm glad to see that our ship immediately orients itself in the direction that we're already facing. And we're gonna make a low delivery to Logan. Thank you, Logan. And if you would like to join us, feel free. We're gonna add one more pilot skill just to make this easier. And we're gonna boost our energy. Hopefully, that'll help us in the long term. Okay, everybody. Well, we accomplished a lot today. We've entered Chicago. We've surveyed the area. We've retrieved a grappling hook. Found a little plane to pilot around here. And we've got a small gang to help us out on our quest. Next time, we'll do a little bit more recon. See if we can get ourselves a hoverboard. And then maybe see about getting equipped and ready for an assault on the NA base.